Ready to move out.
Bell and Company.
Yes, it is another edition here of Bell and Company as heard on Intellectual Radio. I am Mario J. Bell, and that voice you hear announcing us is none other than Libby on the end over there. Hey, Libby.
Hi.
You doing all right?
Are you going to pay attention this time?
I am.
Okay.
Well, don't spoil it. We don't want everybody, in case they didn't see the other episode.
Well,
This is
you all
all
should be
nice and
paying
new.
attention.
It's like it's a fresh day. Hey, how was the Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl? There we go. See,
No, I didn't.
We're on the week after the Super Bowl. Ooh, somebody called us. Let's turn that off. Okay, so that's done. And I don't want to forget to introduce Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
And we already know because we do another show here on Sundays, that you didn't watch it at all. You didn't even watch the commercials.
No, not one bit.
I love the commercials.
I mean, I did like the commercials for a while, but like the last few that I've watched, it's just like, I don't know, the product's waning.
It's not making you remember them. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be, like I like the one with Harrison Ford with the Jeep commercial, which is funny because he makes fun saying, "And my name is Ford." So that was good. I remember that one. There you go. And then the Bill Murray one. There's one with Bill Murray, the Ghostbusters and all the movies he does. He gives out his email, which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah,
and it works.
Yeah, it does work. I think it's been like some kind of program. They had it.
Yeah.
It was all
the rapper Mike Jones. His number used to work until he got so many calls.
Was he in a Super Bowl ad? I don't think he was.
No, he put his phone number in a song once.
And, sure, the song lyrics.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Flocking to it and calling it like crazy because it was his most popular song he ever put out.
What about 8675309? I think a lot of people call that number over the years.
I don't think Jenny ever picked up.
Yeah, Jenny never picked up on that. Anyway, so that was the Super Bowl, but we're back. We're here, and man, is it getting cold? I wish it was last week. I said this the other show. Jeez. But it is February, so I guess it happens. We're in Chicago, and that's the way it is. But it's a good time to listen and watch podcasts and vidcasts and have our guests talk about their thing. Welcome to the show. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves so I don't mess up the name.
Thank you for having us. My name is River.
Hi, River.
I'm Frank Rabbit.
And Frank.
And we're about 50% of White Rabbit Object at this point.
Yeah.
White. Say it again so I don't do it wrong.
White Rabbit Object.
It's the White Rabbit Object. See, I got it. I got it. I won't forget that. Nice. And you, Joe has, again, brought us another great group to come on and talk. I've been asking a lot of the other people, how do you guys know Joe? Did you play with them? Just know him? Saw him in the cafe?
Yeah, we just ran into him. I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah,
we were at Woodfield Mall, and
the mall.
I was in the parking lot asking for change.
Don't-
And they were
I
like,
bet.
Don't
They
play.
obliged.
Out
First of
flyers.
all,
Out flyers.
Don't
Ask
play
for
like
money.
we would ever just be like randomly at Woodfield Mall for no reason.
Oh no, we're always there.
I like that we're
Secondly-
throwing in the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg.
Secondly-
It's kind of like historic place now.
We met you. We played a show together.
which one was it?
I think we met through the bunker.
Okay, it was
I think
the bunker.
that was how we met through Fletch, and then you had us on your album release show
Yes, at
that brewery.
Sound Growler.
Yeah,
Sound Growler. That was cool.
great.
Cool show. That was a great show.
Yeah, that was a really fun show. That was the first time we had really heard you guys.
That was a real fun place.
I mean,
Well,
I think
you're
it's great who
absolutely
he
amazing.
brings on here. I mean, it's just some great people that are low. Again, this is a podcast. Anybody could hear it across the world, but we obviously focus on around the Chicago area because that's where we're based. So,
These folks are phenomenal. I'll tell you that.
and you're around the Chicago area is what I'm guessing, or you tour the country too. And so it's all different.
Both.
Everybody's been on.
Yeah, we've done a little touring. Yeah.
A little touring, usually with specific destinations in mind, or we're heading somewhere and then we decide to build other shows around wherever we're heading. But yeah, we're a Chicago band and
Chicago based. Okay.
born and bred in Chicago, and yeah, we are playing music here and loving every minute of it.
You mentioned your half. So who are we missing?
So we have a lead guitarist, Mike Van Opel, and we've got a drummer.
great.
Yeah, we've got a drummer, AC Aaron Coleman, and
Also amazing.
yeah, and
No
so they, since we're married, we've kind of always been White Rabbit objects, kind of, and so we've had a couple of different drummers come in and out. We've had another lead guitar player for a real long time, Doc B, but at this point now we've kind of stabilized into this setting of the four of us, and it's feeling really, really good and tight, and it just gets better and better every show. Bringing a lot. They both bring a lot of energy.
They do, for sure.
Yeah, and that's what's super important. More than
everyone's
anything else.
energy is unique too.
Yeah, it's totally.
But you guys, when you guys come together, it comes together as a project. But you always have your own flair in each instrumental portion.
Do you do a lot of live stuff then, I take it?
Yeah, we do. And I think that since...
Too much, probably.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say we don't like it. Okay.
I think since adding Mike and AC to the group, I think this is something that, musicians, or at least people that play in bands, sort of universally, it's sort of a universal struggle of like finding the right people that share that same vision that you have about A, what the music sounds like, and B, where the project is headed. And we've been very fortunate with Mike and AC that not only do we get to play with these really incredibly talented musicians, but we also share the same vision about where we see this band going, what we want this project to look like, and how we want to present both sonically and otherwise.
Yeah, like performative.
It's totally.
Does the venues that you pick to go to kind of help with that, or
not always? I would say most of the time I would say in the last year we've been able to be a bit more selective about where we're playing.
We're getting asked more to play,
yes,
which is nice.
Totally.
Well, it's always good to be at that level, right?
As opposed to having to reach out to people.
But I think the cool thing is, though, is that now, we're sort of able to make informed decisions about what's advancing the sort of vision of what we're doing and what's going to be the best thing for us as artists in a time when everybody's trying to put out music, and everybody should be able to create music and put out music, but we're trying to do what's most in line with how we see this band moving forward.
Right.
Well, how do you leads to the next question. What do you guys consider like I asked the other band, I want to talk to them about, do they play live, but I did talk to them about like what their sound is. What are you looking for to be like? Is it pop, rock? What kind of genre do you think you fit into?
We try our best to not get pigeonholed, I would say.
I'd say you do a good job at that. Like, because what I was thinking, like a hybrid of a lot of things, like a bluesy, jazzy, alternative rock.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, I would say that is a good encapsulation of what we do. But yeah, like Frank said, I mean, we really, not that we're necessarily writing for everybody, but anybody that listens and continues to listen, I think, can find different pieces of themselves in what we're creating and can find something unique and special in each song that we put out.
Makes them want to like it.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
like that.
At least that's the hope. It's sort of that blend of like being an entertainer, but also having that creative authority to sort of do whatever you want.
Like probably the first single that we put out that got any kind of real notice was the song called Jolene's Reply. And, like when Sound Opinions reviewed it, they called it Roadhouse Raunch and we were really good at Roadhouse Raunch, some type of like garage soul kind of feel. But then like when we got written up by Rolling Stone back in July of 2024, and they called us Late Night Decadence and Velvet Tones. And that doesn't sound anything really necessarily like Roadhouse.
That doesn't sound like what Sound Opinion thought.
No, it sounds completely different, but they were doing a different song
they
too.
Two totally different songs, but I think that sort of speaks to like the way that Frank and I write.
Yeah.
We write together, and the way that we write separately is, we don't say like, okay, Jolene was this great song, and now we need to.
Now we do everything this way
in every song that we do. We try to switch it up.
I think it's good to diversify your portfolio in that sense. Like, I mean, it is at times it could be harder for like fans to stick on because Over the Sun had that issue. Like all of our songs, every single song was so different.
Sure.
But you guys have that sound that kind of, even though they're very different and very different from song to song, they still flow together well. I could
Yeah.
still throw your soundtrack on and listen from one song to the next and enjoy it.
Well, that's a very intentional thing that we do as well. So like when
Yeah.
we're putting out a record, like we're getting ready to go back in the studio
Yeah.
in this week actually, and
Score.
Great.
we're super excited. And I think you guys are really gonna love what we're putting out for you. It's definitely gonna be the longest record that we've put out yet. But I think that, when we're sitting down and we're about to go in the studio, we've got a lot of songs right now written, but not all of those are necessarily going to be on this body of work, because even though each song is supposed to be, its own thing, we want it to sound like one full body of work.
Like they
And,
all mesh together,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
still have their own identity.
like,
yeah.
it's not a concept album by any means. It's not anything like that, but it should sound like, in my opinion, like one body of work that was intentional. Like these
You'll have
songs
some
are-
for the best of.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The B-sides.
B-sides.
The
You got it.
B-side. There you go. I want to back up. You kind of breezed right over it, and I really want to hear more about the fact that you guys were on the Sound Opinion show and you were in Rolling Stone. Let's talk about that. So let's start with Sound Opinion. Did they reach out to you guys, or they saw you at an event, heard your stuff?
No, they
No,
just
they just wrote about
randomly.
us.
Yeah, they just
Oh.
randomly
Just
Really?
randomly wrote about us, and they decided
well
that they
talked about us.
Yeah, they
I was gonna
talked
say they're
about
on
it.
the radio.
They talked about us, and there was that little write up that like went with it afterwards.
Was
Do they have a newsletter
I
thing,
don't
or
know.
probably
Find it
just a
on the
little
internet.
info about the show, maybe too?
Perhaps that was it, but yeah, they did a show. They included us. They really loved our song. We had no idea.
Right, and then
Oh,
all of a sudden,
okay.
all these people are reaching out to us.
Like heard you on Sound Opinions, and we were like, "What are you talking about?"
I would have wanted to know that. I mean, that's a big deal. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
I
I did-
no, we
know.
had no
I'd like
idea.
to say I have a good following, but they're huge. I mean, they've been
Yeah.
around forever.
No, absolutely. And so we were kind of taken aback because originally, White Rabbit Object started as kind of what we were calling like our secret side project. Like we were just going to release a song every once in a while, and that was, it was just going to be something that we did together. And then once that happened, we kind of realized like, oh, maybe we should be
Maybe there's
You need to
something
get out
more.
there
maybe we
now.
actually
Potential
need to find
here.
other people to play this music with.
That is so awesome that they
yeah.
actually liked you that much that they just started talking about it. You didn't even reach out to them. They didn't
No.
ask about PR about you or nothing.
No,
Nobody reached out. We never asked them, hey, can you give this a spin, see if you like it. It was fully organic. They
Wow.
just liked it, I guess. And yeah, it was.
But
a
how
really
did
cool
they
moment.
find it then? I guess is my
I
question.
have no idea.
Oh, you
To
guys don't
this
even know.
day-
No.
To this day, not a clue how they found it.
I mean, from between then and now I know how to negotiate the world of public relations, and I'm constantly now when we put new music out, I've got lists of
We're
800,
sending it to everybody
900,
under the sun now.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Places,
like
you
PR
know.
places, radio
Yeah,
station,
between
record
radio
companies, all that
stations,
stuff.
yeah.
Bars, probably. You got bars on
So
there.
like every
Venues.
publication, so that's it's all part of the the publicity part of it. And so I worked really, really hard at it. Back then I didn't do anything with it, and just all of a sudden it happened. It was kind of weird though, but like the first thing we ever did was really just a demo of a song
Yeah.
that ended up being played by James Van Osel on Q101 here in Chicago. And
James Well, Car con Carne.
Car con Carne.
We are Car Con Carne regulars.
So
Yeah.
it was just this demo that we did of a song. It was the first thing we ever really did together,
Yeah.
and it ended up on the radio.
2
we
weeks
recorded
later,
it 2 weeks later. It's on the radio, and like another week after that, there's like an article in the Deli, which is just a little publication. It's like, who is White Rabbit Object? And we're like,
This is awesome. I
Yeah,
love
we're
this
like-
story.
we look at each other and we go, who is White Rabbit Object? How? What?
Totally organic.
Who are we?
We're
Us. We're
honestly not really sure yet. At that point, we had no idea. Well, because Frank and I were both playing in other groups. Like we both
Yeah.
had our own projects that we were doing, and we had always said that we wanted to keep music out of our marriage. Like we didn't want this to turn
Okay.
into like a Fleetwood Mac situation where we like hated each
They
other.
hate each other, right?
Like,
Bad lyrics about
I
each other, right?
love being married to Frank. I
Okay.
think Frank is the
That
coolest.
makes sense
and
that you
I think
keep it
you would-
nice.
you would say the same.
I would say the same.
Whether you do or not, I'm keeping. That's gonna be how I perceive it. I'm just kidding. No, but we genuinely thought that like this was something that we had to keep like it in two separate lanes. And so like when we decided that we were going to write this song together, you know, we were under the impression that like we have to find a different way, different names, different outlets, a different moniker for what we're doing with this.
How did you come up with the name, the concept of the band, all that? You know, where
That
did
was
it all
all
come
Frank.
from?
That was all me.
Okay.
That was all me. We're the Rabbits, Frank and River. So White Rabbit Object. White Rabbit is like, you know, just everything about Alice in Wonderland and it's Corellian, where it's this idea of like there's going to be a change. White Rabbit Object, we write it to look like computer code, which is completely purposeful because we wanted to keep it. When we first created the band, it was all about the mystery of it. We didn't want people to exactly know and have to figure it out, and they had to go and look for it and try to figure out what this even means.
That sounds cool.
We've always been very clandestine for no reason.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
You know, that's just kind of like a hallmark of.
So then,
our
and if
project.
you look hard enough, you can find a pop culture reference to White Rabbit Objects, basically exactly the name of our band. Samuel L. Jackson will even say it in a movie. If you look hard enough, you can find it. And so, and you can go and figure that out yourself if you want to. But
I might have to peruse.
Yeah, I like that story. A story even behind just figuring out the name. That's interesting.
So yeah,
I like
it's
that.
been so it was in the back of my head for a long time that I wanted to have a band named White Rabbit Object. I thought there was a lot of, you know, really neat symbolism with it. And if you listen to some of our music too, we'll dive into some of like Alice in Wonderland references and things like that. So, you know, we're always tumbling down a rabbit hole.
100%.
I love it going down the rabbit hole.
So
That can
yeah,
apply to so many things.
Right, exactly.
Oh, it can, yes.
So it's been a fabulous journey. I mean, I'm really kind of I'm very happily surprised by how far it's gone, that we're still doing it, that there doesn't seem to be a stopping point.
It feels like the journey is very much only just beginning in a lot
Yeah.
of ways.
I'd say.
It feels like every time we take a step forward, like
New doors open.
Yeah, and sort of Frank calls it the crowbar effect. Like one thing opens another door, and then that's something bigger, and then we get a bigger crowbar to open the next door. And it's not without fighting and with a lot of pushing and work, but
somebody's liking
it
you.
always feels worth it every single time.
Somebody's definitely liking you. If you got James Von Alsel having you on, you ended up on Sound Opinions, and then you got to talk about the Rolling Stone article. Was that similar, like a little bird where you're playing, or was it also like another piece about the band again?
So that was it was just a little. It was just, I mean, at this point, it was just a little blurb
About a song
we wrote called "Your Love's a Crime," and so when that song came out, I was pushing all kinds of publicity. You know, I was trying to get people to notice it, and this writer from Rolling Stone wrote back to me after I sent it to him, and he was like, "Holy crap! Who is White Rabbit Object?
I was
need
really
to know
worried
more."
he was going to swear there. I'm not going to lie to you.
And so I got this letter, I got this email back saying, you know, I love this. I'm going to write about it. And so then we were basically like sitting on pins and needles waiting for it to get written up, and
like checking Rolling
Yeah,
Stone
like every day, every day.
When was it out there, by the way?
It was probably July 24th.
July.
Don't you pay attention? They already said it.
I just want to make sure.
July.
I
I
repeat
think
stuff
it's June or
purposely.
July.
Yeah, it was July. I think
July.
he confirmed in June. It actually came out in July.
That is great.
It was weird. It was really weird.
Well, Libby's probably got it laying on her table at home because she's got Rolling Stone magazine.
Well, not anymore.
You don't have July?
No.
All
I
right. Well,
unsubscribed a year ago.
I'm definitely going to go
All
look
good.
for it.
Aw.
I can't say I
Yeah.
know anybody.
Or else I would have dug it up right now. If I
I've
did.
lived
Right.
in Iowa, Nevada, Las Vegas area, and then Chicago, another big market. And I don't think I know anybody that's been in Rolling Stone. So I'm
Now you do.
Now you
really
do.
taken. I love it. This is awesome.
You know,
I'm honored.
it's funny, but it's the whole thing though too. It's like for us, it's like we had to build the first crowbar, and I think the first crowbar we really built was Jolene's Reply,
Yeah.
and that crowbar really opened a lot of doors, and so we've been able to continue to just kind of like pry open these doors and getting more and more opportunities, and it's all kind of leading us to this next record. We did the first EP we did was called Whiskey Hotel Tango. You can see where we're going with the names of the.
It was solid.
Whiskey
I
Hotel
liked it a
Tango.
lot.
Thank you.
And then we did the next album was the next
Romeo,
EP,
Bravo, Bravo, Tango.
Romeo Bravo Bravo
And
Tango.
this one that's coming out later this year will be Oscar
Oscar.
Bravo, Juliet.
So, and it's just following the letters from the name. So we wanted to do a trilogy, like put a trilogy of EPs together as kind of like a statement about who the band was. And so we had
So
a release
cool.
in 2023. We did one in 2024. This is going to be our 2025. Hoping to have it August-ish, towards the end of August, having it out. And this will be kind of like the big ending, the big flourish, right? I'm hoping. We're doing more
The end. I
songs.
feel like it's the end.
This
of
is
the
more of an
beginning.
LP probably than an EP.
Yeah.
It's going to be 7 or 8 songs. We were all of a sudden I got inspired today with a little riff, and then we had lyrics. River wrote down lyrics, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I think this is song number 8. So
There you go.
Yeah.
What a great way to just have it get the
Yeah.
flow, right? Just make it happen.
Gotta love those moments of inspiration.
You've got the notebook with you all the time.
100%.
Well, you know what? It's a muscle. You know, if you stop writing, it's hard to go back to it like with any kind of real intensity. And I feel like lately I've been like, probably over the last couple of months, I've really been forcing myself. I had to force myself the first couple.
You're in a
you know,
routine. Like this
yeah.
is your like you're very rigid about like continuing to write. And it's funny because like for me, I'm very introspective and very like self-conscious about like what I put on paper.
Yeah.
And so like I'll start writing a song and then I'll like leave it for a minute. And sometimes that minute turns into a month. And he's like, if you don't finish that song, I'm going to finish it. And that every single time, that's the thing that gets me to go back to. I'm like, you're not touching this. Like,
Do not touch my
Don't
lyrics.
touch my lyrics. Yeah,
It's always
but
interesting to hear how the songs come together, you know?
yeah. And I think it's cool. I think that's, one really great thing about, being married to somebody that you are playing music with is like, there's constant creativity in our space.
I thought you were going to say fighting.
No, really
we
not.
don't
Good that there's
fight
not.
at all.
Okay.
No, we're like we're each other's like biggest cheerleaders, I think, when it comes, and it doesn't matter if it's music or painting or writing or whatever it is, whatever sort of creative thing the other one is taking on, we're sort of there to be like, what can I do to help you propel this forward? And we sort of look at each other like these great creators, and we have a huge amount of respect for one another as artists and as people. So I think that just makes the writing process and the process of creating just, for me, it makes it even that much more special, knowing that like there's somebody that's always there to bounce ideas off of and always there to sort of, back you up or help you critique in a way or see things that you wouldn't have looked at them, from seeing things
From
from a
that
different
angle.
perspective.
Maybe finish each other's lyrics every once in a while because you're
Yeah,
on, like
every
on the
once in
same
a
page.
while.
I
yeah.
think though too that we both have a we're both adult enough about it to not be like when I write something, I never consider it like, oh, this is the
Finished
Bible.
product, yeah.
This has to be how the song goes. I'm always like, if you got a better idea, let me hear it. Let's really hash it out because that's gonna do more than anything else, I think, to make the song really, really take that next step. Having a partner to bounce the ideas off of really, really helps the whole writing process, I think. And
Makes sense.
yeah, I mean, like the song that I'm most proud of that we've done at this point is a song called Once More Down the Rabbit Hole. And I had initially like a bridge written, and she came in, and as we were going through this, when the song finally got really going, what River ended up doing with the bridge, she changed basically all the lyrics from it, and it was so much better what she did. It gave the song like this moment of introspection that I had kind of missed, and I really, I think that's the best part about like being constantly with someone. They're at our
That is constantly in
we're
a state
side
of
by
existential crisis.
Well, that too, yeah.
Or-
Existential crisis helps.
I love existential crisis. I hate it, but I love it.
What about the other
It's a
band members then? Are
double-edged
they
sword.
just kind of
Oh,
going
yeah.
along with you? They're going along with the, like when they hear the lyrics and
No,
stuff, or
I-
they contribute too?
So at this point, not lyrically, but definitely musically
Yeah.
With
at
the
this
sound,
point.
okay,
And
yeah.
and that's not to say that it won't ever happen, because again, both Mike and AC I mean, they're actively writing for other projects that they're in as well, and they're both tremendous songwriters, both lyrically and musically. And so I think just the moment would have to present itself in the right way.
right.
Like, we usually come to the drawing board with like everything for White Rabbit Object, but then like for a guitar solo or different drum parts, like they do a lot of the writing in that respect. So it's a very collaborative effort.
What other band is AC in? I
The
think
Locals.
I thought I'd
Yeah,
seen
they're
him
so
in
good.
something.
And
Okay.
and AC also does like he does his own hip hop
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, that
And
could be it too.
You know, AC
Like
is what he goes, and he releases music.
he just released a song
Really?
called "Aha," and
It's so good.
it's so
Really?
good.
Yeah.
It really is.
He's
It's very
tremendous writer.
throwback hip hop. It's
I
really
like
really
throwback
good.
hip-hop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
personally.
god.
That's the
yeah.
We're
He's
talking about
so
Kanye
good.
West a couple podcasts
yeah.
ago.
But he's AC's fabulous, and then Mike's in a band called Locomotive,
Bad Candy.
Bad Candy, and then he does his own like singer songwriter thing. Opal Van Opal.
Locomotive I knew of.
Yeah,
Locomotive's great. Bad Candy's great. Alex, who's the lead singer of Bad Candy, she's got a phenomenal voice. You should definitely have them on your show. She's
Write that down, right?
cool.
Make a
she's
note. I
very
gotta remember
cool,
Bad Candy.
and have AC on your show too. I don't know. I feel like we're surrounded by so many talented people. Chicago is so slept on.
Oh
In
yeah,
terms
I
of
mean
like how many talented people are in this city and how
that's why
much,
week in and week out I've just been able to
Yeah.
like stock the place.
It's
you know?
great. It's
A
a
lot of-
wonderful problem to have.
lot of like well, I guess you could say Missouri and even Alabama, Louisiana, but a lot of stuff came out of Chicago in terms of the blues sound. So this is definitely a music town, I guess is what I'm getting at.
And we have such a wealth of different types of talents. Like
True.
even if you just talk about musical talent in the city, I mean, the jazz scene is phenomenal, and the blues scene is.
There's a whole
amazing.
college
Fury.
station, 2 of them that are just jazz. So there you go.
I personally, I don't know. I just think that like if you want to collaborate with somebody or you want to talk to somebody about a type of music that you're interested in, you will find somebody to do that with in the city.
You can definitely find those people that are, kind of fitting your fancy.
Yeah, 100%.
Joan seems to know a lot of them because he gets a lot of great people out here,
That's
including
great.
yourselves, obviously.
That's great.
So I want to talk about how you guys got even into the music scene at all in Chicago. I get how you met each other and stuff, but what got you doing this? Like, have you been singing both of you since grammar school or what?
You
So
can start and then I'll.
yeah, you've got a much. Got my first guitar when I was 13 years old, and just started playing. I was in cover bands for a long time, and cover bands. There's I don't know. It always felt like there was a problem with the personalities in cover bands. It was hard to get a bunch of people together on the same page. And finally one day I was just like, forget this. I'm done with this cover band junk. And so I had to edit myself there. And
Good job.
thank you. And then I just like one day like just decided, I know what I'll do. I'll write my own song. And the whole process of doing that for the first time was amazing. Like it shocked me at how good it made me feel after it was all done. I don't even remember what the song was anymore. I'm sure it sucked. And it's gone completely by the wayside, but the moment of actually doing it and getting a band together and having the band perform the song was really inspirational. So at that point I was in a band for a long time that was just a garage rock band. It was three chords and a cloud of dust for absolutely every song. And that band's name was One Ping Only. And so I was doing that but I did that. I was in that band. I was in that band for probably, I don't know, 8-10 years, a real long time. We got solid guys that just were into it, and like every week, practice every week. And it was just routine. And it was never like anybody was like, I don't want to practice this week, or being late to practice, or
Constantly
all that
have an issue.
Yeah,
I get that.
yeah.
I definitely understand
Yeah,
that.
But he didn't have that problem. You
No,
guys
so
are-
it's good to have a bunch of people who are gung-ho to the same exact vision and
Right.
who want to actually live with that. And like,
we sucked, but we were having a lot of fun, and
All about it
yeah.
last night.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
so no,
No, you
it
guys
was a
were
lot of
just
fun.
smart. You
Hey,
weren't
we wrote
that
some
bad.
good songs.
You He really did.
We wrote
Yeah.
this song called Stigmata Man, and it was about a guy who got stigmata and he couldn't get a date because no girl would date him because, he's got the wounds of Jesus Christ on him. That seems a little weird, so it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot.
I wonder what was going on when you were writing the lyrics.
Yeah. So-
Existential crisis.
He was having
Existential
a
crisis.
holy old time.
Yeah. So we
Interesting
we were just doing that, and that's what happened when I was literally writing a song for that band when this one came into our loft in the city and said, like, I was laying down like the bass line for it, like this little bass riff, and I hear from the other side of the loft, I hear the door open and the door close, and then I hear, "You're playing that wrong." And that was like, she just broke the rule. Like, you're not supposed to comment on what each other are doing musically, And I was like, okay, hotshot, number one, I'm writing it. How can it be wrong? It doesn't exist yet, And number two, okay, what would you do? And I handed her the bass and she threw down this riff. And I was like, okay, that's admittedly better.
And right.
Yeah, and right.
And right.
And so,
So
and
you
that's
guys
how,
obviously known each other for a while, it sounds like.
well, we've known each other since 2017. Yeah, we got married
Not
in
that long ago.
we got married in 2018.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so and it's been marvelous the entire
It's been fun.
time.
It's
Yeah.
been no, we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know it sounded like he was being facetious when he said marvelous.
No, it is.
No, I mean,
He's-
you guys
he's
seem
not.
like a great couple who's gung ho for each other. Every time I see y'all.
What is your background then? Where did you
My
come from?
background, music. I started when I was 6. I really wanted to learn how to play the flute, and the music academy that was closest to where I was living at the time did not offer the flute. So my mom was like, "Well, what about piano?" And I was like, "I will literally play anything at this point." I just wanted to play music.
Just wanted
I don't
music.
know why. I
Music.
mean, I grew up around nobody in my family plays, but
That's interesting.
I grew up around my mom's got amazing taste in music, and she always had me listening to everything under the sun, and so I think that was a big part of it. And then somewhere I'm maybe 6 months into playing, I started like singing while I was like learning, and so during my lessons I would be singing along with these songs that I was trained in jazz and classical music, and
Wow.
my piano teacher was like, maybe you should put her in voice lessons. And my mom at that point was like literally working 3 jobs just to keep me in music lessons. I mean, she was
dedicated to helping you.
She really saw that like this was everything for me, and that made it everything for her too. And then that music academy that I went to had auditions. They were going to be taking a group of 4 vocalists and I think it was 30 pianists to Carnegie Hall to perform. I auditioned. I was one of
Awesome.
4 singers that played at Carnegie Hall when I was 8. And ever since then, it's just kind of been like
A journey.
yeah, like I taught myself guitar after years of playing piano and singing, and had always written music. I mean, not that anything was like very special, but then as I got older, I started having more poignant things to say, or else what I thought was something poignant to say, and I kept finding people to make music with. The first record that I put out, I went to Brooklyn with a few friends of mine, and we recorded this really wonderful album and had a 4-piece horn section on it. And
Oh, that's cool.
so I
Wow.
don't know, music has sort of always been this thing that I've fought tooth and nail to have it be a part of my life. I couldn't imagine like a living this life without music being sort of like the key component of it. And I think that like everybody that's been around me, that very small group of people that have been around me for the course of, the 32 years that I've been on this planet, have sort of also noticed that and have been incredibly supportive of me doing whatever sort of semblance of music I'm doing at that time. And so it's always been there.
We'll keep
that's-
assembling.
I'm gonna keep assembling.
I guess this just I want to reiterate where we can see you guys play again. Obviously, I know where we can read about you and hear the podcast of Sound Opinion. Where will we see you live?
So our next show is February 25th at Arcada.
Arcada.
I don't know, Arcada.
Oh,
in
nice.
St.
You guys
Charles.
are you doing like the main stage?
I don't know what stage we're on.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're doing some kind of indie night thing. They contacted us, asked us if we wanted to
Because
play.
they have like a bar right in the front, or is there
Well,
even 2 stages when you
They,
go in
they've
the
got
main?
a couple stages. Yeah, definitely. I work for another podcast like that goes to shows there all the
Oh,
time.
cool. Very
So
cool.
they have like a main stage and then they've got an upstairs and I think they've got one more stage. So
All I know is that they were like don't bring any amplifiers. Like you tell your drummer not to bring his kit. Like you're just playing like what's on the stage. You got like a 30-minute set, and I'm like, okay,
sounds
whatever.
Like you're,
I'm
sounds
like,
like
this
you're
is
playing
easy.
the main.
Yeah,
so
so
What
that's
do you mean
really
playing
cool.
Whatever's on the stage, whatever instruments they give you. You mean?
No,
like
like
the backlight. They have a full backlight.
they have full back line, so
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
have like the
Very
drum
amps
kit already
and-
set up.
That's
and everything.
that's what I
So-
thought.
which is
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
Was that O shows that reached out to you? Or-
Yeah,
yeah.
Oneida,
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Well, there's
Oh,
Ron.
Nesty?
yeah, Onesty, that's it.
Ron reached out. Wow.
Well, no, not him directly. It
Oh, I
was
was gonna
somebody.
say,
yeah.
that's
Probably one of
pretty
his
awesome. You got
PR.
Ron to do it.
So yeah, that's the 25th, and then
We're playing with some great acts that day too. The band Your Mom, they're a younger band coming up in Chicago. They have an amazing sound. They're so cool.
Let's check them out.
Super funky, super fresh. Check out their song OCD. I think you would really like it.
Okay.
Are you guys
Um,
headlining? Speaking of that, or?
Yes.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah,
And then
great.
Shuckin' and the Ramblers are also on that show.
Oh, Shukin's playing?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So we're gonna it's gonna be a great show. We're gonna have a good time. for sure.
Are there still tickets available?
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah.
Get your tickets, people.
I think they're just selling tickets at the door or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
It's
go-
$10. You get
Yeah.
to see 4 bands.
Go to Arcata Theater, I think, or just Osho's, right? Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
on the Osho site?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
O
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty
so that's
awesome.
that's 25th, and then we're gonna open for we're gonna do support
Our
for our friends Harlem Hayfield.
Those guys are so good.
They're gonna
I
do
love it.
they're doing a
No,
record
oh my
release
God.
show up here in Chicago at Phyllis's.
So that's March 29th.
March
and
29th.
we'll be opening up for them. So definitely check out that show. And if you've not heard of Harlem Hayfield before, definitely give them a listen. They're
So good.
fabulous.
I've wanted them to come up, but they're all the way down south, so it's kind of
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
to
they're
get them
down in
up here on
Decatur.
Sunday
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
Unless
We
they're
gotta
like on their
Get 'em
tour
on a
again.
train or something. Come
Yeah.
up here.
yeah.
Or right, be on tour. That would help.
So
They're
yeah.
in Decatur, right?
They're
Yeah,
in
Decatur.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so-
far too.
So then we're and then we've got a bunch of shows we're going to be announcing, like festivals and stuff during the summer. We're kind of focused in. I've kind of tried to zero us in on getting the recording done. That's really my main focus right now. And
Is it
then-
full time that you guys do this? It sounds like it.
No,
Really? It's
we
not?
have
All
we
have
have
day
day
jobs.
jobs.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You know, every time I hear them, like, I don't know how I could barely keep it together putting this show together. I can't imagine having like a 40, 50-hour job on top of all this, but I guess people
work
do it
is-
every day.
Work is fun.
No.
No, honestly, I
You don't work together on the day job.
No.
We are in very different lines of work.
Oh, gotcha.
No, but honestly, like I would say about like the work that I get to do during the day, I'm very lucky to like work in the nonprofit sector and get
Oh, that's cool.
to give back and to support in that way. I've been doing that for about a decade. And
What company?
so I'm actually at a school right now. I work for an independent school and
Sweet.
do all of the fundraising and advancement.
Oh,
for-
great.
Oh,
She knows
that's
about all
cool.
the
That's
501c3 rules and stuff.
Oh, I've been doing that for many years. So yeah, yeah. It's
Joe dabbles in that. Obviously, you were like a minister, all the stuff you did.
Oh, I didn't dabble in all that.
You didn't do the fundraisers?
I was.
I thought you did.
Oh well, yeah, there were fundraisers but
But
I
you didn't
wasn't.
do it.
I wasn't the person like doing all the like the legality stuff.
You didn't
I
plan
was,
it.
I was
I
just the guy who would like get on the
Ta-da!
megaphone and be like, "Hey,
The guerrilla
we're raising
marketing.
stuff."
I got it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's you. What you're doing music full time?
No, I've got a day job. I'm
He's a lawyer.
I'm an attorney for an insurance company.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that is like totally
Did we just blow your
out
mind?
there. I mean, that's two different sides of the brain you're using there.
Yeah. I
Wow.
like to say she does good. I do evil.
Yeah.
at
And we
the end of
balance
the
each
day.
Well, I
other
hate
out.
to
Yeah.
say that, but I
We're
was
the
kinda
yin and
thinking in the
yang,
back
you
of my
know?
mind,
Yeah,
the insurance
yeah, do
companies, boy, you guys are, you're going to have a lot of people going after you. Maybe not your company, but like in California with that whole thing, with all the fires.
That's
Yeah,
a
just
mess.
stay away from
It's
that.
frightening.
Don't ever get into business in that
It's
area because I can't even imagine.
I just pray for everybody. I mean,
Oh, same.
I thought FEMA would help, but it doesn't look like they're going to help much either. The federal
Yeah.
government isn't doing much. So anyway, but you know all about that then.
I'm aware of it. I'm aware of a
He's
lot of
like,
it.
"I'm
Yes. It's a it's a real problem when you're trying to do like, boy, this is really getting off topic, but catastrophe, like insurance for catastrophes, is just like
Well, it's about
It's
you guys.
almost
it's a hard to
non-existent.
insure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an impossible risk to insure, and I know insurance companies try to do it, but
Are you on you're the counsel for the insurance company?
yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So you see the side of like, wait, we can't pay for all. We're gonna go broke.
I'm the guy. I'm the
I
guy.
get it.
Well, I don't make those decisions, but I'll tell them whether legally we have an obligation under the policy to pay.
Sure.
So
That's when you got to read all them those little
Yes,
those seconds,
yes.
in the
So
third
bad.
page with all the
Yes.
little letters.
Yes.
No,
Wow.
I would not be able to do that.
Yeah, no.
So okay, well, there's something we could be on here for like 4 hours, but we don't have 4 hours. So I want to reiterate where we're going to find you guys. Again, they were in an article in Rolling Stone back in 2024.
The best thing to
July.
do. The best thing to do is if you're really interested in finding out about White Rabbit Object, you go to our website, which is just whtrbbtobj.com, and just go there. And
all the press is
all
there.
of our
all the
press links are
songs,
there. If you're
upcoming
interested in the press, the
shows,
songs are all there.
everything.
Great.
If you find a way to reach out to me directly, I'll even give you a secret code where you can download all of our music for free. So
Oh, great. Well,
Heck
they can mention it again. Say the site again.
it's whtrbbtobj.com. So
All
it's just it's our band name without the dots, obviously, in the middle of it because that confuses the
Because
internet.
the internet is hard.
The internet. That's funny. Well, we'll definitely look there. And then, of course, I'm guessing you're on Spotify and all the podcasts.
yeah.
We're on the
music sites.
Spotify, we're on the iTunes, we're on the
All of those.
Bandcamps,
All the
you
The
know, you
Deezer.
can find us all those things.
All
You
the
know, we've
things.
got we're doing pre-sales right now for an album,
A vinyl record.
a vinyl record, our first vinyl record.
Nice.
So you can find the links. Go to our link tree. That's another great place.
Again,
yeah, we're
White
doing-
Rabbit Object, but don't spell it out. You got to do the abbreviations, right?
whtrbbtobj.com.
Got it.
So yeah,
Awesome. Well, it was great having you guys here. This was a great interview. Again, thanks, Joe, for finding
Thanks
them
for
and bringing them in.
having
You know,
us.
Joe's
Thank you
been
guys for
behind
coming
the
on.
scenes doing a lot of work for us. It's great. Love it.
Love it. Yeah,
and
no, thank
you guys were great. And I'm looking forward to hearing some of the music.
Joe
we ran
doesn't
out of
get enough
time.
credit.
Right.
He just doesn't.
I know.
Thanks, Joe.
But we'll definitely listen, and everybody should go. It's that you got a website is great. Everybody can go to your website and check
Yep.
it out. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming out on a Sunday night. And it was
Listen to
fun.
White Rabbit Object.
Yeah. And
Thanks,
that was
Sal.
Joe Brucker right there. That's Libby. Thanks, Libby, for
Bye.
being here. And I, of course, am Mario J. Bell, and that's another show for a Sunday. Join us every week on Sundays live, and then, of course, on the podcast site, the YouTubes, the Facebook, all of them. Just like these guys with the music, we're there with the audio and the video. So everybody take care, and we'll see you next time on Bell and Company here on Intellectual Radio.
Later.
Have a good one. Bye.